talk about a tack haul. Just kidding, they're not heavy. I'm very strong. I'm Smart Packer Sarah, and I'm back for another tack haul. Thank you guys for the awesome comments on the last one. I'm sorry you couldn't see the show coat behind the box. I'll keep that in mind for this time. And also I'll be doing a review video on that show coat, so you'll get to see all kinds of shots, including the horse show that I wore it in which I got reserve champion, which is awesome. It's my first show back in 10 years, so I'm not like trying to brag, but it's also my first show over 30, so there was a lot of things that were making me nervous about it. So I'm really excited. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. And now we're gonna see what I have in these boxes. But first, let's start with the important things. My hashtag ROOTD. For those of you not in the know, that's riding outfit of the day, of course. And mine came from SmartPack. Up top, I've got my SmartPack Ladies Wicking Tee, or Wicking Polo, obviously. Collared shirt, very proper here at the barn. I also have my Tailored Sportsman Gold Mine belt, and this one is on sale right now, so only certain sizes and styles are left. I love a good wide waistband belt. I love the way they look with Piper breeches. These are my Piper knee patches. This color is also discontinued, but you can see that's why you have to shop the season's latest styles. If you see something you like, gotta snap it up, because it gets taken out of that clearance section by smart riders like you super fast. So that's what we have there. And then down below I have some sock shots, which are like, I think from when I was in college. They're very old, but they hold up. And then my Ariat Ladies Cruisers, which I've done a review video on, showing here very gracefully. And so those are my comfy slip-on barn shoes that I put on before I throw on my tall boots to ride, or my dewberries to go muck about in the field in the cranberry bogs with my horse Cody. All right, so that's what I'm wearing. That's all the good, exciting stuff there. Let's jump into these boxes, see what we got going on. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna save the best for last. The best is down here. I wasn't threatening you with this knife. We're gonna start with this smaller box up top. And I don't really know good box cutting etiquette. So if I'm not doing the right thing, don't do what I do. Probably cut away from yourself is, I think. That's not really why you're watching this video, but it's just nice to give people helpful hints, you know, just like along the way. Alrighty, so we have some Christmas wrap here for you. The nice thing about SmartPack's packaging is we use a ton of recycled materials, and so our plastic wrap is packaging. These plastic films are also recyclable, so that's recycled and recyclable. These ones, I don't know if they're on their second life, but I do know that they are recyclable. We care a lot about the environment at SmartPack. SmartPacks themselves are all on their second life, at least the plastic, and they came from old things like water bottles, and then they also can be recycled again. They're #1 PET plastic, which means you can drop them off at your local recycling center just like it's a Poland Spring water bottle. And I know I'm talking a lot about SmartPacks right now, but I really love SmartPacks, and I also love the environment, which is why we're out here filming this video in the beautiful nature. All right, so we've got our packing slips, which tell us what awesome things are in the order. So I placed 2 different orders, which is why I got 2 different slips, but they all came in this one box. That's another fun fact, something that we try to do at the SmartPack warehouse to save on shipping costs and also packaging and fuel and transportation to your barn. If we notice that a couple of orders got placed to the same barn, if you're registered as a barn, not just if you have the same street address, but if you're registered as a barn in SmartPack's system, if we see that you guys, you and your friend at the barn placed an order on the same day, we'll throw them in the same box and save on the packing materials, and also save the UPS driver's fuel going from the UPS location to your barn. And it's just another way that we're trying to take good care and be responsible stewards of the environment. Okay, so let's dig in. The whole theme of what's in this box is all kinds of super fun, shiny, grooming stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on for this order, which I'm really excited about. It's August, and in August, you know, things are always getting a little bit sweaty, getting a little bit messy, so we got a lot of grooming to do. First and foremost, we have some fabulous show sheen. I love Shoshin, not just as like a show ring spray, which is how it obviously is, Show Ring Shine, original hair polish, and detangler. Detangler is what I'm using it on my 28-year-old man for, because he's not doing so much show ring shining these days. But he does have plenty of tail detangling that he needs help with. So we'll set that one down there. The next one that I have, oh, this is a throwback, you guys. Silverado Face Glow. So first and foremost, beauty shot of the product. I used to use this, so I grew up doing 4-H and the quarter horse circuit with my horse Cody, and we used to use a ton of Face Glow. Granted, we did use the pink one because he's a chestnut, but the clear is good for any colored horse. And so I got this because we are gonna do a little photo shoot, me and Cody. And I have hired a professional photographer to come out and take pictures of us. And side note, she is the photographer for SmartPack too. She's SmartPacker Christy. The Shoshin just fainted. It was so excited. And SmartPacker Christy is going to come out and take pictures of me and Cody and just document how beautiful it is here at the cranberry bogs at the barn. So I got some Silverado Face Glow, a little bit for the photo shoot, but also mostly just for smelling because it smells so good. Nostalgia. Nostalgia of days in the warm-up pen at quarter horse shows in New York. I love me some Face Glow. Next up, what do we got? Equus Microtech Equine Shampoo. Equus is awesome. I love their stuff. They have a lot of really great products, and I have always known a lot of, when I was on our customer care team, I used to get tons of customer calls for Equus products. And I got the Microtech shampoo because Cody tends to get a little bit of like skin funk, particularly here in like the late summer months. And so this way I know, I try not to bathe him very frequently because bathing strips the natural oils of your horse's coat. And so I figure if I am going to be doing some bathing, I do want to be replacing those oils and also helping take care of his skin as much as I can. So a little, with the Microtech Soothing Shampoo, really helps for like skin problems and that sort of thing. So I'm excited to see how he likes this one. Come here, Shoshin. Just lean on that Microtech. You guys can be friends. So next up, talk about throwback. Tried and true mane and tail shampoo and conditioner, which you all recognize from your favorite tack store trips as a child and or the shampoo aisle at the grocery store. Because remember in the 90s when everyone started washing their human hair with this stuff and they were like, it allows my hair to grow freely like a horse's mane. And all of us riders were like, all right, calm down everybody. You're insane. And so mane and tail shampoo and conditioner, the reason that I got these is not so much that I'm going to be using them on Cody as often because he uses that Microtech one more frequently. But I got those because I moved here to this barn a couple months ago, and I moved Cody out here and I hadn't had a horse that I was caring for. I've had Cody since 1995, but he was living in a barn where he was helping out with their lesson and therapy program, and he was hanging out with the kids and getting loved on by the kids there. And so I had donated so much, like almost all of my grooming supplies, and so I'm restocking all of that stuff now. And when I moved Cody here, I was borrowing the barn's shampoo and conditioner, and so I'm buying those as a replacement to say thank you, because it's okay to borrow as long as you replace. There's important rules for being a good friend to the people in the barn with you. I think the theme of this entire thing might be a little bit nostalgia based, because anyone who recognizes this color knows that the smell contained inside this bottle is a glorious fragrance. So this is the hair moisturizer from Healthy Hair Care, which I love their horse's logo. See, I feel like this logo, the Healthy Hair Care logo, which hopefully we can add a zoom in of somewhere, maybe. I don't know if we do those in these videos. I don't really know what happens once the video filming is done. But this logo, this horse has like an 18-foot tail that's like curling underneath him. And I think this is what people thought when they started shampooing their human hair with the mane and tail, is they were like, it's just gonna be so flowing. So I love this stuff. I use this as a body spray, and I think I use it 50% because I like how shiny Coty looks, and 50% because of how great it smells to be around. So I love the Healthy Hair Care Hair Moisturizer. As an overall body coat spray, definitely don't put it where your saddle's gonna go before you ride. Find that one out the hard way. So I feel like this is a little bit embarrassing for Coty because now I have this, the Equessentials is I think what this is called. Hang on. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. It's called Cavallo Care Leave-In Conditioner. I was really wrong about that. But I'm really excited about this because, so I feel like this is like reflecting poorly on Coty a little bit because of how much of this stuff is to get the nasty tangles out of his tail. But he just hangs out in his stall and is running in a field all day, like he's swatting at flies. His tail gets pretty tangled, and he's got a pretty luxurious tail, and so I want to make it look as good as possible. I've never tried this, but I'm really, really excited about it. I had some pretty good reviews on SmartPak, and so I'm excited to give it a shot, and if I love it, I will do a video review, and you guys will get to see all that I think about it. If you go to the page and there's not a review video from me, it does not mean that I didn't love it. It just means that I haven't had time to do that video yet, because our videos are a little bit hard to schedule sometimes because we use the same studio for videos and all of our photography. Fun fact about SmartPak that you didn't know. So how am I going to get all those shampoos on his body? Obviously with a Half Moon sponge, of course. So that's that. And then so one of the things that I donated was, of course, my bathing pail when I didn't have Coty in my care. So I'm very excited about this one. This is the, I think they're called like I'm going to find out. I'm not going to repeat that mistake I just made in the last one. Fortiflex pails. So you remember when I said I wasn't going to repeat the mistake? I made a different mistake. That's something that my trainer in college used to say to all of us when we were riding in our lessons. And she'd be getting really exhausted by the ridiculously stupid things we were doing. And she would just look at you flatly after you went through a course and had made the same mistake you'd made repeatedly. Make a different mistake. I'm tired of that one. So at least I made a different mistake, is that I read the word but just pronounced it wrong. Fortiflex pails. This one is called Sapphire Blue, which I would not have guessed. I mean, I guess I would have guessed because I did guess I wanted navy, and I was pretty close to navy in terms of what we have. So Sapphire Blue is where it's at if this is the bucket color you want. Last but not least, for this one is Farrier's Finish. And Farrier's Finish is a new, relatively new product from the makers of Farrier's Formula and Farrier's Formula Double Strength, our good friends at Life Data Labs. We love Life Data Labs products, and we know that Farrier's do too. And so I'm hopeful that Coty's hooves are gonna love their Farrier's Finish. I've seen some great reviews on this one as like a hoof disinfectant conditioner on SmartPak's website, and I'm really excited to give it a try on Coty. He has just like a little bit of mild recurrent thrush that kicks up every now and then if it's particularly muddy, or if it's really bad weather and they've been standing around in their stalls all day. I'll sometimes notice he gets a little thrush in the inner sulcus of his feet, and so I just like to always have something on hand to treat it with, and ideally something that doesn't stain your breeches. So we'll find out how this one does, and I'm excited to give it a try. So that is everything that's in this order. But I did say I was gonna save the best for last, and I feel like I really did. And so we're gonna set this box down here. We're gonna get our trusty knife, and I'm not gonna give any more tips on how to open boxes because it doesn't feel like that's what's needed. But I'm glad I get to talk about one more thing that SmartPak does that's cool for the environment. Is in this best for last box is, of course, Coty's SmartPaks. And now you'd think, why is that good for the environment? You already talked about the SmartPaks being recycled and recyclable. That's true. Great memory. You're going to do excellently on the quiz that will follow this video. If you want a quiz about the video, just let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to provide you some questions. Question number one is going to be, how did I incorrectly pronounce Fortiflex? The first question. So these are Cody's glorious Smart Packs, and I'm gonna take them out, I'm gonna hold them like a baby because they care for my baby. And I appreciate that these supplements and that these Smart Packs are here every day at the barn, helping him look and feel his best, even when I can't be here to feed him and pamper him myself. So what's Cody on, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Cody's on Smart Omega 3 and E Ultra. That's these two. He's on, and Smart Omega 3 and E Ultra is because he doesn't get to be out on pasture 24/7. And so I know that hay and the little bit of grain that he gets are not complete in terms of the vitamins and minerals that he needs. And while Smart Omega 3 and E Ultra isn't a multivitamin, it does have really nice omega 3s, which fresh pasture is rich in. And so those help keep him nice and shiny, in addition to the coat sprays that I obviously am a big fan of adding as well. So Smart Omega 3 and E Ultra also has a great source of natural vitamin E, which is good for a whole host of body conditions. Smart GI Ultra Pellets is the next 3 wells of Cody's Smart Pack, and Cody's on these because he's had navicular changes since he was young, and he's on prescription medication called Equiox or Previcox for that. And I know that non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like Equiox or Previcox or Bute, as an example, those are really harsh on your horse's stomach. And so I like Smart GI Ultra because it combines the researched or the stomach protection that's backed by clinical research from Smart Gut Ultra with Smart Digest Ultra, which is the first of and the foundation of all of our Colicare eligible products. And so especially with Cody being 28 years old and having a little bit of old man digestive upset and can get a little bit runny every now and then, I really like this product to just help keep his whole, from stomach to hindgut, his whole GI system super happy. So that's that. Recovery EQ Extra Strength is some great joint support to help Cody stay comfortable and feel happy and healthy, even at 28 years young. And then last but not least, APF on a Smart Wafer. I like this one because APF has really great adaptogenic herbs which can help the immune system dial up or dial back as needed, which is really great for an older horse who sometimes has compromised immune function. And I love the Smart Wafers because it feels like there's a little treat in here for him every day. So when somebody opens these up, there's a little treat that falls right in, and then he gets to enjoy that. So these are his Smart Packs, which I love very much. Thank you guys for loving my horse. But the reason that I was talking about these being good for the environment is because you saw there is no additional packaging materials needed in the Smart Pack box. And that's because our co-founder and CEO, Paul, is super smart and worked with our super smart SVP of Operations, Dodd, years and years ago. And they said, we don't need to be spending all of this additional packaging material in every order of Smart Packs that we send out. It's bad for the environment. It's a hassle for people when they're unpacking their orders. Instead, we can get custom-sized boxes to fit the Smart Packs in so that we don't have to provide any additional material, and the Smart Packs arrive safe and sound, which is awesome. So we have custom-sized boxes for 1 through 7 wells, which is the length. This is a 7 well. And so 1 through 7 custom-sized boxes, and then we also have boxes that fit when we have a storage drawer, like a first-time order, and then if we have a couple different box sizes for if we're sending multiple Smart Packs to a barn. So it's a really cool thing. It's just one of those things that's like the secret fun facts of Smart Pack, and all of the thought that goes into making sure that you guys have the best possible experience when you get to open your horse's Smart Packs and hold them like a baby and thank them for taking care of your horse when you're not there. And that is the end of my tack haul video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great ride.